Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, almost Happy New Year, but no rest for us here at Rebel News. Literally a couple hours ago, we received this letter delivered by registered mail from Justin Trudeau's elections agency, Elections Canada. Now, as you know, the Canadian election was in October. Trudeau squeaked through to a second majority despite his blackface fiasco and ethics scandals. We had a fight with Trudeau during that election when his hand-picked debates commission blocked us from reporting on the leaders' debates. Well, obviously that's illegal, so we ran to the Federal Court of Canada and we won. We got an emergency injunction forcing Trudeau's elections debate commission to let us in. It was pretty amazing, actually, David and Goliath situation. We had two really young lawyers who loved free speech up against literally 5 government lawyers, and our guys won. So it was amazing. You'd think Elections Canada would be done with us, but no. Look at this letter. I'm going to post the whole thing at saverebelnews.com. You can read the whole thing for yourself because I know you're not going to believe what I'm going to read from it. This letter was written by Mylène Jijou, who's with their investigations department. And they're investigating me. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It's not funny at all. It's just ridiculous. They're investigating me for writing and promoting a book critical of Trudeau during the election. Now, of course I did. I'm a journalist. I'm an author. I wrote this book. It's called The Libranos: What the Media Won't Tell You About Justin Trudeau's Corruption. So that's sort of what I do. That's my conservative niche. There were 2 liberal books about Trudeau during the election. Here's one published by Aaron Wary, a left-winger at Trudeau's CBC state broadcaster. They get $1.5 billion a year from Trudeau, so you know what the book was like. And there was another book about Trudeau written by John Ivison, who's liberal-leaning as well, and he works for Post Media, which receives $140,000 each week from Trudeau as part of the newspaper bailout. So you can guess where he's coming from. So those guys, they're not under investigation for writing or promoting a book. Only I am. And maybe this is one reason why also. As you can see, Aaron Wary's book got good reviews. It got 6 ratings on Amazon. And you can see John Ivison's book on Amazon.ca got 7 ratings, pretty positive. Here's my book, The Libranos, 267 ratings, average rating 4.8 stars out of 5. So maybe that's why my book's being investigated, because people actually read it and it was critical of Trudeau and it hurt. And the thing is, so what? That's freedom. That's freedom of the press, freedom of election. That's something to be protected. But according to Mylène Jijou, my book and the promotion of the book was an illegal campaign act, but apparently not Aaron Wary's book or John Ivison's book. Now, the thing is, we've been using that Libranos poster for more than a decade. It was originally conceived by a blogger in Saskatchewan named Kate McMillan, and we then fancied it up and did a poster of the Libranos for the Western Standard magazine. That's 2006 now. And John Chrétien and Paul Martin, they all hated it, but they believed enough in free speech that they didn't send police after us. Well, new generation of liberals, new generation of corruption, but they don't believe in free speech, so they've sent their investigators after us. And what's crazy is this letter. You can read it at saverebelnews.com. Mylène Jijou admits right in the letter that books and the promotion of books, like the poster, they're exempt from elections law. They're not considered campaign expenses. Here, I'll read to you from the letter. She says there's a special exemption in the law, and I knew this, of course. I mean, it's obvious. Special exemption in the law for the promotion of the sale of a book if the book was planned to be made available to the public, regardless of whether there was to be an election. Well, of course, you want the book timed to the election. That's when people are most interested and they're going to buy the book. But if for some weird reason there wouldn't be an election, I don't even understand that, but obviously the book would be even more important. So obviously we're saved by the law. So why is she investigating at all? Well, anyone who follows the Rebel knows this is what left-wingers do to us. Our reporter from Alberta, Sheila Gunn-Reid, great reporter, had this best-selling book that actually went to #1 on the Amazon.ca bestseller list. It was called Stop Notley. And she crisscrossed Alberta with her posters and lawn signs too. They were great. They were hilarious. Oh my God, did Rachel Notley hate that? So she sent her hand-picked election commissioner after Sheila. And they actually hired all these ex-cops as PIs to come after Sheila, and they threatened her. Here, listen to a phone call that Sheila had the common sense to record of one of these ex-cops threatening Sheila with severe consequences if she didn't hand over her author's notes. Take a listen.
You've asked me to come by and answer your questions. Now, if I don't do that, can you order me to answer with a summons or something like that, like a subpoena?
You want a subpoena?
No, I'm just asking you, like if I don't come by and answer your questions about my book, what happens then? Will you issue me a summons?
Well, is there a reason that you don't want to clear this up?
That wasn't really my, it's not that I don't want to clear this up at all. I'm just curious, what happens if I don't come by?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of, authorities for the election commissioner to, to not compel, but there are the word is consequences for people that that don't provide the information and that type of thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. So obviously we didn't go along with that, and they finally dropped the investigation into Sheila, but not until we had spent about $70,000 in legal fees. So I think Justin Trudeau saw that and said, yeah, I'm going to do that too. Even though we lost when we tried to ban them at the federal court, let's just try again. So I think Justin Trudeau knows this is illegal. I mean, the letter itself shows it's illegal. But look, there's not one, but several investigators. Louise Penneton is the lead investigator, and elsewhere in the letter it refers to multiple investigators. They're putting their whole office on tracking down this book. Yeah, guys, it's not just the book, and it's not just the poster. We had mouse pads. I think we had coffee mugs. We sure had T-shirts. And you're making me want to do a whole lot more the Libranos merch, just to show you that I don't listen to government censors. Now, there's this line here. I just got to read you one more line from this letter. Because if I don't comply, if they find that I'm a bad boy, they'll fine me, $5,000, I think. And there might, I haven't had a full briefing from our lawyers. There are other provisions too. They could theoretically prosecute me criminally. And there's even the possibility of jail time. I don't think that's afoot now, but that is in the law. I think I'm on pain of a $5,000 fine. But let me read to you what Mylène Jijou says about that. She says, if I cooperate, they'll go easy on me. Take a listen. The provision of all reasonable assistance to the commissioner is one of the factors taken into account in determining a monetary penalty. So if I bend the knee to Justin Trudeau, if I admit that I've been a bad boy by writing a critical book about him, instead of being a good boy like John Ivison and Aaron Wary writing a loving book about him, if I admit I've been a bad boy and promise never to write critical books about Trudeau again, then they'll go easy on me. Yeah, guys, if I wanted an easy life, I wouldn't have chosen the path I'm on. I would have bent the knee to the Debates Commission instead of fighting. And yeah, I pay the $5,000 fine. I'm not going to do that. Do you think I'm going to do that? Do you really think I'm going to do that? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fight like hell. And I'm going to teach Mylène Jijou and Louis Penneton and all the rest of them. I'm going to teach them a little bit of lesson about what Canada's really like. It's a free democracy with freedom of the press. You can write a book criticizing any politician you want. You can do it during an election, before an election, after an election. You can sell T-shirts and posters. You can. And I think we need to teach a lesson to these out-of-control investigators at Elections Canada. And if you want to help me, go to saverebelnews.com, because it's not just the $5,000. It's all the legal expenses. Like I say, we spent over $70,000 protecting Sheila. And I have no doubt this will cost us in that same neighborhood. Look, I actually believe that there should be investigators working in Elections Canada. I just think they should be going after, people who meddle in the election improperly, rather than Canadians who participate in the election, as I did. For example, I don't know if you know this, but a huge Chinese telecom company called Huawei, they've donated enormous sums of money to a liberal front group called Canada 2020. And none of that is disclosed to Elections Canada, and Canada 2020 is run by a personal friend of Justin Trudeau. That's money laundering. Or how about another Trudeau front group called the Trudeau Foundation? They received massive gifts from Chinese nationals, again, not reported to Elections Canada. Yeah, I think there really is meddling in this election, a lot of it from Trudeau's Chinese friends. That's what Mylène Jiju and Louise Paneton should be investigating. Not a guy who wrote a best-selling book calling out how corrupt Trudeau is, which just, by the way, happens to be a fact. Yeah, I'm going to keep on fighting, and I hope you'll join me in the fight. I just need help with the lawyers. It's the same young guys who helped win at the federal court when Trudeau tried to censor me last time. I'm sure Elections Canada will have 5 lawyers up against them too, but that's unfair odds for Elections Canada. My guys are going to clean their clock. I mean, look, we're still a free country for now, and we're going to have to teach Justin Trudeau this lesson one more time. We're going to have to teach Mylène Jiju and Louis Paneton a lesson one more time. And I need your help for that. If you want to go to saverebelnews.com, I'd appreciate it. $5,000 I could get out of this in a second. I'm not going to pay $5,000 to get out of this because I did nothing wrong. I don't pay fines in Canada. Authors don't pay fines for criticizing prime ministers. We don't do that. Go to saverebelnews.com and we're going to fight like hell. And you know what? We're going to clean their clock. Go to saverebelnews.com. Hello, my friends. Justin Trudeau's at it again. He's trying to censor the rebel. He never learns. We're going to win. I just need your help to fight back. Go to saverebelnews.com. You can see the threat letter I received hours ago, and you can chip in to our crack lawyers who are going to beat him like a drum.